welcome back everybody to Monster Hunter World, that is. We are continuing along with our optional quests. We're going to do a Dodogma? I get Dodogma. There we go. Today's recording is occurring on the snowstorm that is affecting a good chunk of the United States. Coming down pretty nice here. Not terrible at the moment. Later recordings, I may say something to the extent like, yeah, I just shoveled a foot of snow. Or 10 feet of snow, I don't know. We live not really, I wouldn't really call it Appalachia, because we're sort of outside the Appalachian mountain range. We're sort of in the, you know, as you start heading towards the, the Ohio plains, or whatever the plains are actually called. But, it's very hilly around here. We get a decent amount of snow, but definitely not as much as you would see in the mountains, or, that sort of thing. So, when I say living in Appalachia, just be aware I'm not really up there. I'm not really all that high up there. In the mountain range, that is, or hill range, whatever you want to call it. Because I know in terms of, they call it the Appalachian Mountains, but in terms of the Appalachians versus the Rockies, it's like, yeah, you're talking about the Appalachian Hills, not actual mountains here. In comparison, that is. But living in this area, you will occasionally get warnings about, well, you're gonna get, a couple inches of snow, or you're gonna get a foot and a half of snow. And what I've learned is that it doesn't matter what they say, you're gonna get what you're gonna get, because the meteorologists can guess, but a lot of cases, stuff will either push north or south of where you're at, and you end up either getting hit really hard or not at all. And I understand it's very difficult if you're a meteorologist and you are covering a section of the country that goes from the bottom of Pennsylvania up to practically Erie, and then out towards, I wouldn't say central Pennsylvania, but you're talking a number of different possibilities just by the fact that, one's closer, one's higher. We say, are you above I-80? Which I'm told I-80 goes across the country, so maybe that's true for everybody. But are you north of I-80? You're probably going to get more snow. You're south of that, you're probably going to get a lot less snow. We will see. We've had situations even this year where we were supposed to get a dusting to an inch, and we ended up getting about 6 inches of snow. My mom actually got it a little bit worse. She's a little farther north than I am, but not super far north, about like 10 minutes north, and they ended up in this band of snow that just plowed the crap out of her area, and she ended up getting about a foot of snow where she was at. But still, I wasn't a big fan of waking up to a dusting to 1 inch and finding out that I had to shovel my ass out. Not really badly, but like, there's a difference between, okay, I need to get up because we might be getting 4 to 6 inches of snow, and, oh, you're gonna have a dusting to 1 inch. I'll just wake up normally and just drive to work. So, I know we're not getting that today, so there's going to be at least 2 shovels. There's going to be a shovel probably, I don't know, we'll say noon time, and then I'll do it again 1 or 2 more times after that, depending on how much the snow's coming down. So if it doesn't come down super fast, then I'll probably shovel again around 5-6 o'clock. And then if it is coming down super heavy, I'm going to have to shovel again before I go to bed at 9 o'clock. Shovel at 9, go to bed 10, 11, and then wake up early in the morning and see what I have to shovel in the morning. Because it started around, I don't know, after midnight. It's supposed to end at some point today, but today could mean 11 p.m. Could mean, you know, 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, you know? So, a lot of wait and see right now. Anywho, we're fighting the Dojima. The Dogama. He is much like your Great Jagras slash what is the other one's name? I can't remember. He's a lizard type. He has some moves that are similar to the Great Jagras, but obviously instead of gobbling things up, he's chewing up dirt and minerals and spitting fire back at you and causing what is it called? It's called blast blight, where if it builds up enough it'll cause an explosion. We will continue to collect monsters by capturing them. I think you get better. I'm pretty sure, based on the fact that I've been capturing everything in the more difficult low rank monsters and everything in high rank, that you get a much better rewards when you capture, and I think you get much better rewards when you do an investigation versus an actual quest. Now, I know it's really dependent when you're talking investigations, because bonus rewards are based on what the investigation tells you to do it's going to be, which means that the more difficult the monster is, the better the rewards are, or the more difficult the situation is, the better the rewards are going to probably be. So there's that handoff. If you see something that doesn't have very good rewards or very few rewards, you're probably running a pretty easy version of that run. But if you start seeing like, oh, this is going to give me 5 bonus items and 3 of them are gold, you can be pretty sure that there's probably something else in that mission that you really won't know about until you get into it. And I generally mean by that, you're going to have a monster like a basil geese or a devil joe, or maybe an elder dragon walking around, like something that's you just need to walk by it and it gets angry and attacks you, you know, which is basil geese. That's devil joe. Those fuckers are just so aggressive. Anyhow, we're just gonna keep going. We've wiped out all of those missions, so we're going to continue here. You can see I've got a number of different options because I've run into a basil geese already in my travelings. So you pick up one piece of material and all of a sudden, well, the material comes from a turf war that happened between 2 different monsters. I picked up a piece of his material, now I have a quest for him. Fight him. So I think basil geese might be a female, specifically female dragon. I don't know. Anywho, this is Ergon. He is the big boy version. We already talked about this, I think, but this is the big boy version of the Ergon. Instead of collecting bones with his tar-like skin, he's picking up rocks and minerals, which means that if I knock him over, I can actually farm his backside for gems or ore. I don't think he has anything terribly interesting on him. Like, I don't think there's a particular ore that you can mine off of him that is unique to him, that you can't pull from any other drop site, is sort of what I'm trying to say. I know he has a thing called lava nuggets or something to that extent, but that usually comes off of one of his part breaks that occur. So we're probably gonna have to switch off of the Palico mask for, I think well, there's a couple reasons. Reason one is I've completely leveled up the mask thing to its max that it can go right now. And two, you know, the health bonus might be more advantageous for me than this distraction. Hard to say. And then last of all is I gotta start. I know there's other Palico items, most notably the plunder blades, that I need to go figure out when I get that, and possibly go and do whatever side quest investigation needs to be done to acquire those. But that's just gonna be requiring, you know, me going on a wiki and trying to remember when I get certain things and if I'm missing anything Palico related in terms of his special equipment. Plunder blades might not be available until we get a little bit further in the game, like say another level of monster, like Elder Dragon level monsters. Hard to say. So one of the things I'm starting to run into, and it's mainly because I've been off screen grinding out the monsters' materials. So, you know, you'll see me fight this Urgon or the Dogma, but then while I'm off, which I'll get to another point here in just a second. You know, I'm spending a lot of my free time leveling up, getting new armor materials, because I don't really want to. I don't want to wear, if I don't have to, I don't want to wear the cheapy armor they give you. You know, which is the, what do you call it? The I can't remember what it's called now. The commission set or whatever. The one that they gave you at the beginning of the game to basically get you from low rank into master rank. So it's an easily upgradable armor and weapon set that allows you to do a lot of damage, take very little damage, and doesn't actually require, other than the sword, doesn't, you know, your weapon of choice doesn't really require all that much to go from, say, level 1. You know, it keeps up with you as you progress. So one of the upgrades for the weapon side of things is to get it from the previous level to its next level is a singular pink Rathian scale, which is a very common item that you get from the pink Rathian. It does obviously prevent you sort of as a like a border, and says, well, if you haven't fought a pink Rathian yet, you can't upgrade the sword again. And then there's another upgrade on top of that that I'm aware of, at least now, and maybe there's another one on top of that, but I'm not really certain because I didn't have this when I was playing this in vanilla, or, you know, the non-master rank version. So again, I've been trying to avoid using that stuff because I just find it a little too easy. You may see me use it eventually on like Devil Joe, because I don't have time to mess with Devil Joe right now. He makes me sad. Like every attack he does is just like, there goes a quarter of your health. There goes half your health because he picked you up and slammed your ass. So you gotta run away, and then you gotta heal, and then you gotta run away, and you gotta heal, and then you get like 2 more good hits in, and then you gotta run away and heal again because he doesn't really combo you so much as his moves are very random. I don't know if random is the right word there or not, but you might really get in there and start doing some decent damage to him, Then all of a sudden he'll do like a whatever you want to call it, a 360 spin, and just kind of level you. I don't know, well maybe they, I don't know. I'm sort of speculating, I haven't fought Devil Joe yet. He may pop up though in this mission or any other mission I'm doing from here on out. Because I got to the level point or the level cap where he starts popping up. So what a dick. So when he goes into this, when Uragon goes into this rolly mode, you just want to do what I'm doing, which is quickly dodge left and right of where he's rolling, because as soon as he's set to roll, he's picked a direction and then he's just going to roll in that straight direction. He's not really going to sort of curve to the left or curve to the right, at least in this. And then of course he gets tired once he's done that attack too many times, which makes him more likely to fall on his side like this. Also, I wish I would have stuck that. So he's gonna do the roll again, hits the wall, rolls over onto his side. So eventually he's gonna regain, this is sort of like an exhaust state for him. Yeah, I'm gonna mine him this time. Lava nuggets, that's one thing I think you get off of him that's unique. But eventually he's gonna regain, I don't know what you want to call it, his posure, his stamina, and he'll be back to not necessarily that very aggressive roll that we saw earlier, where he's rolling, hits the wall, turns around, rolls again. But he's gonna not be falling over anymore. Also, his jaw. I was about to say I'm about to be lit on fire. His jaw, you can actually break his jaw. I don't think it's possible unless you're wielding like a oops, that was a mistake. Unless you're wielding like a hammer or hunting horn, maybe even you might be able to get away with. You might be able to get away with some of the bigger weapons like charge blade and great sword, or maybe even long sword if you're using one of its like final attack. I can't remember what it's called, but it's kind of like the element dump that the switch axe has. But overall, that jaw is not meant to be broken unless you're wielding something very blunt. You just sort of bounce off of it because your weapon's not sharp enough. Now you can see the sword part of switch axe does go through it, but I think that's just an element of switch axe, is that it does not bounce. It doesn't seem to bounce off of anything. Versus, every other weapon will more, if it's not sharp enough, or the enemy's portion of the body you're attacking is too dense, too hard, I'm pretty sure you bounce off it regardless. Like, I guess a side example would be if you play Sword and Shield. The shield portion of Sword and Shield has a blunt damage that it deals, so it won't exactly like bounce like a sword attack would. But Shield, it is not all that. It's hard to tell if it's bouncing or not. So just because he's doing this attack doesn't mean he's going to be worn out after he's done doing it. But just a word of caution. He usually is, but it's not guaranteed that he's going to be like completely just going to stand there and be exhausted. Just be like, okay, will on me now. You can just hit me over and over again, and I don't care. I'm tired. I want to take a nap. Should be getting near the end of this fight, I hope. Suck my balls. We already got his tail. That's fire. Anytime he winds up for the fart attack, you should just run away. It looks like an opening, but it's not. Well, it could be an opening if you damage his gas pouring pores of his body, but it's not likely to happen. Bomb. That's big damage. I've started running into monsters. I don't know if his... Well, that was sort of unfortunate. I disconnected. What I was gonna say is starting to run into the next level, like next tier of monsters. I don't mean Elder Dragons. I mean, like, obviously we're gonna be running into them soon enough, as it is, because that's part of the plot. Is you'll, after you've investigated this area here, you've done like 1 or 2 assignment projects in this area. It basically says, okay, now go fight near Gargante. You're like, yay, I'm gonna go fight near Gargante. And but after, then they introduce other Elder Dragon that were in the, that were added later as DLC into the game, or not. But ultimately, what ends up happening is I have a miss. But ultimately, I'm going to start running into what we call tempered monsters, which is just like you take this monster that we're fighting right now, and you make it maybe a little faster, or you give it a couple extra moves, but you're definitely going to add on like more defense, more attack, just to make that monster just that much harder. And then I believe tempered monsters have their own set of skills you have to collect. Or weapons and armors, that is. That's nice if we're talking. I don't really care about the armor, the weapon thing, because it's like, okay, do I want to waste my time going and grinding out for that? But when it comes to the armor, it's like, well, maybe you need that for a later boss fight, and just setting you up right now for, well, you forgot that you fought, say, like this Ergon, and his armor gives you increased, I don't know, let's say fire defense. So you can use his armor against the Lavatos in the other room. Or vice versa, I guess. Let's go. Alright, looks like he's headed back to go to sleep. We'll track his ass and throw powder bombs on him, and we should be good to go. Alright, let's capture this fucker and we'll be done with this episode. Done did it. Done did it. I've destroyed the guy. Right for me. Ding dong ding dong ding dong. Hooray!